Today I'm going to talk with Dr. Charlie Camarda from NASA. Charlie Camarda is an American engineer and NASA astronaut. His first mission was into space on board the Space Shuttle mission in 2005. Your mission STS-114 return to flight followed the tragic flight of Space Shuttle Columbia. How did the accident impact your mission? Did it affect how you felt about your flight?
It did not affect how I felt about my flight. It did impact our mission. Our mission had to be totally redesigned. It was going to be a logistics mission and carrying supplies up to space station and fixing a large gyroscope, a control moment gyroscope. What we had to do, it took us about 2.5 years after the accident to figure out what caused the accident and to create technologies and procedures that would ensure that we would fly safely. And so our entire mission was redesigned because we had to develop new technologies to inspect the vehicle, technologies to potentially repair the vehicle if there was another debris strike on our mission. And so it was, as an engineer, it was the perfect mission for me because we had a lot of experiments to conduct to test new technology and new ideas.
What was the most memorable experience for you during your career at NASA?
Oh, gee. I had such a long career at NASA. I worked at NASA for 45 years. I just recently retired. I would say our space mission was definitely one of the most rewarding experiences because we did test a lot of new technology. We flew in space. After the Columbia accident, after we lost 7 crew members, friends and colleagues and classmates, and so to be able to work with teams of engineers around the country to understand and to help fix these problems to enable us to fly safe. I think that was the most memorable experience, flying with this unique team and very critical mission that we had, and to pull it off perfectly with the help of hundreds and thousands of engineers on the ground.
On June 27, 2019, NASA declared a brand new mission on Saturn's largest moon, Titan. The mission is called Dragonfly, which will launch in 2026 and arrive in 2034. NASA predicts that this mission will provide clues to how life may have arisen on our planet. What can be the effects of this mission on future space missions and scientific developments? Can it mark an era like the Apollo 11 did?
I think what we're seeing right now, Merva, is the idea that when we move further and further out into space, we're not doing it just to plant the flag and to say we accomplished something, but we're doing it with the intent to basically provide a sustainable presence, either on the moon or Mars. And so what we learn about the planets, what we learn about the moons of these planets will help us determine where the best place will be, maybe to initiate a colony, a base where we could begin the colonization of one of these heavenly bodies in order to explore further and further out into space. And so to do that, we're going to have to learn how to live off the land. We can't carry all the supplies that we're going to need on these missions. They're very far away from the Earth, and so they have to be as autonomous as possible because communication lag could be 20, 40 minutes or longer. And so I think this is a new era of exploration because we're looking at what it will take to actually live for long periods of time off our planet.
Mm-hmm. Kuiper Belt Ultima tool is the farthest flyby of an object in our solar system. This kind of mission is accomplished using unmanned spacecraft. What do you think about the future of human spaceflight?
I think human spaceflight, the future of human spaceflight, it's going to be a combination of all of the above. You know, we're constantly conducting these unmanned, uh, 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 uncrewed vehicles to go deeper and deeper out into space, and I think it's going to be humans plus robotic missions in order to accomplish this. For instance, in order for humans to survive on Mars, we're talking about possibly sending initial missions, which are just robotic missions, to help prepare the habitats, if you will, the facilities that the astronauts are going to use. And many of these ideas are not any different than human exploration on the surface of Earth. For instance, when we explore extreme environments like the North Pole and the South Pole, we typically send missions further and further towards the North Pole. We might have way stations with supplies for the pioneers, the explorers, to survive as they go further and further in their exploration. We're using those same kinds of techniques as we explore deep space. Only now we have robots. We're able to use those robots to maybe create fuel that we will use in order to supply fuel for the return trip back, habitats, and initial landing pads for astronauts to use.
Looking back at the first space missions, a lot has changed since. What, in your opinion, are the most significant development? What is the most significant change when comparing current space missions to the ones 50 years ago?
Oh, gee. You know, unfortunately, I don't see much of a difference. You know, I don't see the radical improvements to the way we do things in space. A lot of what we're looking at are incremental improvements in propulsion systems and material systems. We're still using chemical rockets to get there. And so it's going to take us a long time if we're going deeper and deeper into space. To go deeper and deeper into space, we really have to make radical advances in technology, especially propulsion technology. And unfortunately, the United States has not been investing enough resources in the far out research that we need to do. So we're not doing enough research in critical areas like advanced propulsion systems. The other thing we're really not doing is improving the safety of these missions. I haven't seen a radical improvement to the safety of how we fly people in space. And until we do that, I really do not believe commercial space flight is going to take off. Imagine if you had a 1 in 50 chance that every time you boarded an airplane, the airplane would crash. Would you fly that on that airplane?